Hello. I wanted to push an update video out to anyone who is curious of the current progress and answer some questions that have come up and play through a quick game, hopefully, and just show kind of where I'm at. So I'm going to launch a game. And one of the questions I got right off the bat was, is this recorded video from back when the game was live? And the answer is no. This is running live from my computer, and it's running on the same Steam client that we've all used, anyone on PC anyway, since the game was playable. And another kind of similar question is, well, what is it exactly? And the answer to that is it's what's referred to as a server emulator, which has been around for quite a while, and it's used in other games that have either closed down or they're not available anymore, and fans have made them, or where games that currently exist want to be played in a former state. So if you think of like EverQuest, there's one called Project 1999, which is an emulator from back in the original time frame. There's a lot of World of Warcraft emulators, Star Wars Galaxies, Vanguard. It's pretty popular in MMOs, and this is kind of following that same thing. If you think of it as like Nintendo, right? People have the desire to play old Nintendo games or Super Nintendo games or something from their youth, and it's not really practical that everyone goes out and buys or finds the old cartridges and the old consoles, so they run what's called an emulator, running the old software in or the old games in a different kind of software, right? So it's very similar. I'm gonna dump that. And that's good. So how it works for me right now is just like the old game. I launch the game, and then I have the server essentially just running here. My client connects to it instead of connecting to Bethesda, which is obviously no longer responding. And then my server is kind of controlling the back end. So the game client has to be told everything. It does very little on its own. The server is essentially running the entire game in the background and then telling the client what's happening, just the visual representation of what's happening behind the scenes, right? So the AI here is not the Bethesda AI. It's much worse, if you can believe that. No, I don't want to say too much because it'll end up beating me here, but it's very just RNG. I've set it up to essentially, it looks at its cards, it says what can I afford, and it plays it to a random lane. Doesn't care what I have in what lane or what it thinks it should go after. And what do I do here? Sorry. Blow all my recharges on this silliness here. So as you can see, right, it can afford that, it plays it, it can afford that, it plays it, it's picking a random lane. It will then, when they can attack, it will randomly attack as well. So it'll just pick something. It doesn't care if it can kill this, it doesn't care if I'm at 1 health and it can finish me. It'll just pick something and it'll swing at it. So it's really basic, and it can win, and it has won. I've played against it very many times, so it never feels good to lose to it, but it can high roll me. Do that. So as far as kind of of course, the reason I'm doing it, I think, is pretty obvious, but I'll just talk about it briefly. Is they closed down the game.
Another volley.
Everyone who's played the game, has put time, money into it, and it's just gone. So I didn't like that, and I don't like that with any game. And I started kind of poking around while I was still able to, collect data from the live servers, and started to make some progress. And before you know it, things were looking okay, and I'm pretty happy with where it's at now. So right now it's hard to answer, kind of where exactly it can end. Right now, what I know is possible is that this is possible. It can be played locally, and absolute worst case, someone wants to play it and they want to play it on their local machine. That is 100% possible because I'm doing it here. I mean, you can see me actively trying to play and talk.
I smell fresh meat.
As far as online
My bow is ready.
and trying to play, against other players, I do see a path to that. It's a bit more, complex than someone might think, because there's just a lot of things that I haven't looked at yet. My main, focus has kind of been, my main focus has been just getting the game going. I apologize, I don't know why I'm putting so much thought into playing this, but I don't want to lose. The thought of playing other people, it's still definitely a possibility. I just don't know yet, so I can't really answer that. But again, I do know that this is possible. So at worst case, we'll get this to a spot where it can be usable, and then release that. So right now the immediate goal to me is to get the basics built and try and get the game functioning. So kind of what's done is what you can see I'm doing. A lot of the basic keywords are working. The charge, ward, lethal works, breakthrough works, drain works. I've got rally working. Regenerate will work. Let's see if we can get this guy to regenerate. It's a very prophecy-heavy little test deck I'm working with here. We got lucky so far.
We'll see how they like someone who fights back.
So it looks like I will get a regenerate in. Of course. So, I mean, this thing will 100% make like the worst decision for whatever it is that I'm trying to do every time.
Should have been more.
Should that have broken a rune? Or did he had healed? Sorry, he had healed. So the things that haven't popped here are prophecies, which do function. Surprisingly, I have not got one. We can skip runes, and that works. The end of the game will function correctly. I guess we'll keep him alive.
As long as I draw
And I've got 6 in charge damage, so I guess we'll just wrap him up here. So at least I avoided the embarrassment of losing. And I've got through everything that I wanted. So, those are the kind of the basics, and it's not anywhere close to being, ready, obviously. Using very basic cards with very basic mechanics, and I've got those functioning. If you do, have specific cards that you would like to see, function, I'm getting to the point now where I'm starting to push through cards a little more. All of the cards have to be rebuilt as far as I can tell. So right now, again, what I've covered is good. I've got to do items, I've got to do supports, probably start with like passive supports, things that don't have active abilities, but active abilities will be in there as well. And then we'll go from there. So if there's some specific card, you have a favorite card or whatever you want to see, if we can get it functioning, I'm happy to try that. And drop it in the comments and I'll take a look. Other than that, I will see you next time. Thanks.